The following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside, off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go three wide. No one's with him.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's gonna dive in down to the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14, it's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it? Walker Thomas.
Machine coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2 by 2. The 65 gets the win. Hello and welcome, race fans, back to PTR TV here tonight with the ASRS Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series, their season opener here from Daytona International Speedway. I'm Brandon Krutz. Joining me is Corey Silva, and Corey Silva doubling as our tech producer every night. So Corey, Daytona, their season opener here in the trucks. We've seen the Cup Series a few times already, but yeah, trucks now. They're onto the trucks.
Yeah, we've been bringing the Cup Series for about the better part of the last month, but on alternating weeks here, we do bring you the Truck Series as they will switch back and forth amongst the 2018 campaign. So this is the season opener for this brigade, and qualifying here for the Sam Maxwell Customs 150 is just about to wrap up, and we have Devin Serra on the provisional pole at the moment. Remember, Serra was in the Championship 4 dating back to Homestead last season when we were bringing you the Truck Series at Homestead for that series finale.
Yeah, Rick Thompson right behind him. Lap times fairly close here tonight. Rick Thompson just under a 10th back from Devin Serra. So it should be a really close race. Obviously fixed setups for these guys here in this league. And you know, which leads to some even closer racing, everybody kind of on level playing field. But Daytona in the draft, guys, can be a little bit of a wild card here, and you know, we've seen that time after time. Again, obviously we cover a super speedway series on Monday nights, and we've seen the wild card factor that can put into it.
Most certainly, especially in the trucks, they offer extremely tight racing. 2-3 wide is the normal, so it'll be a hectic race around Daytona, but Brandon, qualifying is just about to conclude, so we will switch over and get you the starting lineup. In fact, there it is. So Without further ado, the starting lineup here at Daytona for the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series here at Daytona. On the pole is Devin Serra with his lap of 50.049. Off of him, our congratulations, Rick Thompson to the outside. In the third spot, you'll find Chris Titus, and then John Kennedy in fourth, Alex Giese in fifth, Jeremy Banning in sixth, and then we have Mitch Brown, Brian Yazik, Tom Gianni, and Tim Knott, your top 10.
Starting in 11th is Raymond Castile. Behind him is Scott Smith. Then it's Jim Foose, Sam Maxwell, Josh Seiden, Nick Curling, Jason Stewart, Sean Muzik, Jordan Ashland, and Brandon Boyd rounding out top 20, Corey.
All right, and then we have Danny Rogers 21st, Pete Baskinson 22nd, Jared Mogard and Jamie Moore 23rd, 24th, and then rounding out the top 30 is Evan Black, Brad Cross, Jordan Miller, Alex Bates, Kevin Mingus 29th, and Austin Foch in 30th.
Andy Veltman starting in 31st. 32nd is going to be Clarence Bonner. Then it's Brandon Canny, Matt Howell, Michael Krobuk, and I believe that is going to round out the field.
Yeah, because surprisingly, Corey Silva is not going to be racing in tonight's race. I don't know how that happened.
The others are not eligible to race. They didn't make the field. So.
Yep, we do have 36 drivers, I believe, on the final grid, and a couple others are in just in case something does happen, but that is the grid here tonight. Race format here, race conditions that we will be racing under. We have an incident limit of 17. Those who are newer to the iRacing service, every single time you go off the track, you make contact with the wall, contact with another driver, you receive an incident point. If you get 17, per this race rules, you will be removed from the race by iRacing. We have 60% fuel in these machines, fixed setup, and no backup cars here tonight, so no fast repairs.
Quick side note, Corey, I do believe they reduced it to 13 tonight.
Oh, there we go. I had some updated information, so even a tougher challenge. Weather conditions at Daytona International is 66 rather in the air, and then 66 on the track. And actually, we don't usually see this potent of a wind. We have a 12-mile-an-hour wind from the south tonight. Can't recall the last time I've seen a double-digit wind in any of these races, so I don't know if that will provide any variable, but we will most certainly see here. 60 laps around Daytona tonight. Relatively quick race we should have here.
Absolutely, it should be, and these guys roll out, they'll get stacked up, doubled up, and ready to go green flag racing here. The iRacing.com pace car leading these guys around here at about 80 miles an hour.
Quick shout out to the camera specialist we have for tonight's race, TrackCam 4 Gourmets. If you're interested in the views you see here tonight, TrackCams 4 Gourmets, Facebook.com/TrackCams. Talk to Estevan, you can work out a deal. Maybe you can enjoy the same views you will see tonight here on PTR TV. But 20 machine of Devin Serra will be on the pole for the season opener here tonight for the ASRS Sam Maxwell's Customs Truck Series here. 60 laps of racing on primetime TV. Buckle up and get ready for a great night of racing.
20 machine Devin Serra, as Corey said, going to be leading these guys around. 92 to his outside. Got the 25 truck right behind Serra, and the 89 right behind the 92 machine. Those guys going to be essential to a clean start, those front four, as they make their way off of turn number 4 this time by. It's going to be about 36 trucks taking the green flag here tonight. The iRacing pace car pulls off into pit road. The green flag is in the air for the first time of the season for the trucks.
Green flag in the air. Devin Serra is clear of the 92 on the outside. A push from Chris Titus behind him as that inside lane tries to get formed. A little bit of a checkup. The 77 is getting his way to the back bumper of the 25.
Heading down into turn number 1 now. They're going to be 2 by 2 by 2, all down through turns 1 and 2 right now. That side slowed up a little bit down through the center of the corner, down the back straightaway. Looks like they've got the numbers up on the high side. See if they can get anything done.
As we down the back straightaway, everyone is starting to get double file still. We're still in pace lap formation, headed down the Daytona Superstretch into turn number 3. Lead still is in the 20's hands. The outside has to get formed a little bit better.
Heading down through turns 3 and 4 right now. 92 machine kind of falling off these two guys right now. Looks like it's really close racing. Now maybe a little bit of
big one.
Oh, caution on the speedway.
Big one in the back of the pack right now. I see the 3 machines sideways, and there was definitely some other drivers involved, but the 3 of Pete Baskin seem to have got the worst of that.
Oh, the 30 machine went up and over, down off the banking.
We'll go on PTR replay. Looks actually the 11 machine I see all on the apron. I don't know what that is. Jason Stewart, actually last season's truck champion, and I don't know why he was on the apron.
There was a huge checkup. He got hit by the 27 machine, sent him spiraling down onto the bottom of the racetrack. And he ended up on the apron trying to hold his truck down there.
It was the 1 and the 60, Brandon. Sorry to cut you off. They had the initial checkup, and then while Stewart was on the apron, the 3 was up there, and then they all just kind of beat and bang trying to get some space, and then oh my goodness, that yellow machine, the 30, Brad Krutz.
Yeah, up and over.
So that is the first caution of the race. Not even a lap into it here tonight, so not the start we wanted to see, but large fields on a plate track, I mean, it is always in the realm of possibility, so
a couple of guys ending their night on lap 1 here at Daytona. It's like Brad Collins taking it behind the wall. Not sure if he was one of the guys that started the race or not.
Now, Brandon, we don't get to cover trucks too often these days here on PTR TV, so I mean, we're pretty good with the Xfinity car fuel load, but we don't know the trucks as well, so we have 60% fuel in these machines tonight. Do we have any guess as to what these drivers can run tonight?
It's a good question, Corey. I know it's hard to judge in these machines, especially at super speedways. You got the factor of the draft. If you're the leader, obviously you're not going to be able to go as long. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I want to go with the guess of about 20 to 25 laps, closer to 25, but I don't have too much confidence on that, so we will hopefully we can get ourselves a green flag run and see these drivers make some green flag stops, and we'll figure that out. But down the back straightaway, everyone has chosen to skip pit lane. Obviously not too much of a reason to go at it at this point, so the beginning of the field, that order is largely untouched. Devin Serra, Rick Thompson, Chris Titus, John Kennedy, Alex Giese did remain in the top 5, but behind the wall is the 30 of Brad Krutz. Actually not behind the wall, still in the pits doing significant repairs, as is Pete Baskins. Austin Fouch in the 48, he is exiting the pit lane. And trying to see anybody else who had any significant damage in that. Jared Mogar just leaving the pits.
I would like to quickly apologize if there's any background noise coming from my end, folks. My microphone is, well, it's busted. So I gotta go out and get a new one here probably tomorrow, and we'll be all good for the next broadcast, but I do apologize.
Yeah, just in case for any of the audio files up there. I know, of course, I'm one of them, but it's not just fine, Brandon, especially once we're under conditions, so not too worried about that. But yes, this is, as we said, the first race in the season for the ASRS Truck Series. As we mentioned earlier, obviously we've been bringing you the Twitchy Race Reports Cup Series here on PTR TV, and we will encompass a total of 41 races between the two series in the 2018 campaign. So we are obviously here tonight, of course, and we will bring you coverage of the Truck Series next week as well at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Actually, the next couple weeks, rather. We have Atlanta on the schedule, and then we have New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and then we're going to have a 1 month or so gap until the next race at Martinsville, and then those races will be filled in with a little bit of an off week because of the iRacing build, but we will switch back to the Cup Series, so you'll have to stay tuned to their website, AmericanSimRacing.com. You can check out both series schedules, or PTR TV. We will have the races scheduled on YouTube, and you can get a little bit of a heads up as to what series you will be watching.
Also would like to point out that We are currently down on the website right now, so if any of you try to get on our website at primetimeracingtv.com, we are down with the website, and the domain will likely be changing, but we'll keep you updated on social media about that.
Technical difficulties in that category, but we are experiencing the one to go right now, so we will get kind of a I mean, I've used this terminology before, the initial restart, because we never really got going for a complete lap before, so we'll go with it. The initial restart of the race, see if we can get going and get this race truly underway.
Yeah, we didn't even get a lap in before the yellow flag came out. Those guys were sitting down in turn 4 when a yellow came out, but these guys once again stacked up, doubled up, and ready to go back green flag racing.
So again, usually on these plate tracks, there are 2 positions that are extremely important to the leaders, and that is the drivers who are behind them. So you will see the 20 and the 92, Sarah and Thompson, leading the pack from the front row, but they will have the help of Chris Titus and the 89 of John Kennedy. Those will be the drivers to kind of determine which line will get the initial run and get the lead into turn number 1. But we come down the back straightaway. You can see the entire grid of vehicles right now. The only one behind the wall is Pete Baskins. 34 drivers on the lead lap. Brad Cross has dropped a couple laps down due to his damage, so 34 drivers will be in this pack going for this race at the moment as we navigate through 3 and 4. Brandon, take them away.
Field being led once again by the iRacing official pace car here tonight, and as they come off of turn number 4, once again, pace car will get ready to drop down and make that hard left turn. The 20 machine of Sarah will lead the field back to the green flag once again. Pace car makes its way down in a pit lane this time. Green flag back in the air. We're racing again.
Very clean restart amongst the top 6 at the very least, and everyone stayed pretty well double filed through that. Looks like about the 7th car in line, truck dropping in line. But it looks like Sarah is going to have the edge with a push from Titus.
We saw just that single lap that we got in, Corey. The outside line needed a little bit of extra help maybe, and well, they're not getting it too well right now because they're quite spread up on a high side. The advantage is going to go to the inside line.
The nature of the restarts will give the bottom the benefit just because it is the shorter distance around, but the outside, once it gets wound up, it can definitely make some headway, as it is doing right now. Thompson actually had a little bit of an edge there at the end of the backstretch.
92 and 89 using a tandem style draft here to try to get the edge. This time they were locking bumpers down the back straightaway, gave them the momentum. Now heading down through the tri-oval, now inside has the advantage. Sarah's going to lead this lap.
Yeah, give it to the 25, but the outside lane has populated pretty heavily right now. You obviously have the 92 up there, the 89, the 16. So these drivers are double file pace lap formation here on lap number 7. Still green flag conditions.
You can see how much these trucks move around in the draft. Now they're up to full speed. And in close racing, it'll be a little bit sketchy, but these guys doing an awesome job so far, not racing too close yet, still early in this race.
Looks like we have already experienced a little bit of a break in packs. We have Danny Rogers or so in the 0-2 and the 1, Josh Sidden, but then all the way back to Jim Foose and Zach Calloway is about a second, so a little bit of a second pack forming.
Yeah, absolutely. Those 2 packs, something we see quite often here at Daytona. Breakaway between 2 different packs here, and front pack still 2x2x2, a little bit more organized than that other pack. The second pack were to get organized, maybe get a single file, they will be able to catch this front pack no problem.
It does look like on the top of the racetrack, the 92 of Rick Thompson has the edge. He has the advantage, but he's not able to clear. So he's in the position where he will get the lead at the stripe more often than not, but he actually should be able to clear now. But will he help the 89 or drop to the bottom?
Oh, he was going to drop
down. He was indecisive.
No room. Very, very sketchy situation. Great save by the 92 machine not to come down across the nose of Sarah. Almost a wreck. It
seemed as if he was very indecisive as what he wanted to do there, and he nearly caused a wreck in the middle of that process, but we do carry on. Good driving by all.
Heading down into turn number 1 now. Those guys organized once again. I'm sure that caused quite the checkup there. And now the 89 machine may be looking to get air on the outside of the 92. Definitely not looking to pass quite yet, not this early anyways, but maybe looking for air. A big shot to the back bumper to the 20 machine down the back straightaway. That gives the advantage to the inside.
Evan, something you were, Brandon, something you were talking about was that second pack getting single file and giving them the opportunity to close in on the first pack. They have taken your advice. They must have heard you, because they are doing that, and it is adding more cars to this lead pack. Trucks.
Yeah, absolutely, and all you gotta do is get single file. Things will go in your favor, especially with how hard this front pack is racing so far. The front pack still 2x2x2 right now, and as we see, the lead pack starting to grow.
Yes, it is, and you can see on board here how tight the racing is from the, we're on Tim Knott's number 41 machine right now through turns number 1 and 2. He's on the outside groove as we head down the back straightaway yet again.
And Corey, look at how much those trucks move in the draft.
Yes, they are definitely. Oh, the 92 has decided to finally clear to the bottom of the racetrack. That will give the 89 to John Kennedy the reins on the outside of the racetrack. He will have the push from, who is that on the outside? I believe it's Jeremy Banning.
Yeah, they have the momentum on the outside now. Now the 89 has the advantage across the stripe. He will lead that lap.
But now what is the 89 going to do? Is he going to try to help the 15 up top, or is he going to drop to the bottom? He will drop to the bottom. So not any kind of loyalty going on very well right now. Everyone is kind of thinking for themselves. We'll see if that comes back to play later in the race when you do need that help.
So 92 and the 89 now working together once again. A little bit of a swap there. Now the 92 pushing heavy. The back bumper 89 machine trying to clear that outside line down the back straightaway. Not going to work the outside line. Hanging in there. 92 drifts up the racetrack a little bit. Almost makes contact with 15.
Yeah, the 15 and the 81 to have a little bit of a gap on the 41 of Tim Knott, so that outside needs to get a little bit better form to keep that momentum up and going. But right now, the 89 is clear of the top. He can kind of block both sides of the highway. He's going to have to do so, but because the outside has a run.
Heading down into turn number 1 once again. Now the inside line with the advantage outside. Not leaning too far back, however, but they're not quite as organized as the inside right now. And the inside line seems to have the numbers right now. That gives the advantage to the inside.
Someone on the apron there. I think they're trying to drop to the end of this pack. Probably trying to be in a safer position. Hopefully he can get out of the way and not merge on the track on the apron on the back straightaway. But we enter turn number 3. Now the top 2 have cleared the outside groove.
Yeah, top 2 clear that outside, and it looks like they're losing the numbers up on the high side right now. Not going to be able to get anything done with that aspect of it. But we know these guys are going to have to pit eventually if it stays green, Corey.
Yes, they will, and I'm going to take it to probably about another 10 to 15 laps, I would guess. But again, that is an entire guess. Right now, it does look like, in terms of the pack, we have 20 drivers. Jim Foose in the number 42, I believe, is the caboose on this train right now for the lead pack right now.
Something to talk about, pit road entry, Corey, can be very sketchy at that, as we see the 92 drop back down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, you definitely have to be very vocal on your communication channels here to make sure that everyone knows you're pitting, because if you pull off and the guy behind you does not know, we could have a humongous pileup on pit entry. We've seen it time and time again.
The tandem draft coming into effect for the high line right now. We see one truck coming out of pit road now, but the tandem draft's kind of working for the high side right now. They're bringing the rest of the guys with them. They may be making some headway.
Yeah, they are definitely doing that. It's almost kind of a frustrating situation that we have going on here, because when you're in that pack, I talk about it quite often, but it always happens. When you're in that pack, you're stuck. You really can't make a move, especially at Daytona. 3 wide is so difficult and dangerous. Must be kind of frustrating in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, that it is, and we see a big shot to the back bumper of the 92 from the 89 now. That's a little bit sketchy on corner exit, a little bit of loosey-goosey there on corner exit down off of turn number 4, but it definitely gave the advantage to the inside. They'll lead that lap.
Yeah, so let's see if the outside can get wound up with a new driver up top there. That would be the 15 machine of Jeremy Banning. He has the 81 of Mitch Brown helping him.
Yeah, Banning up on the high side. That 15 machine looks like falling back just a little bit off the bottom groove. Top 2 cleared that high side once again. Now the 81 machine, I believe, When up top, he's going to get left out in the dust.
Yeah, he is going to be all the way to the top in the third lane, and these drivers will have to navigate through and around him safely, but he will merge back down. Mitch Brown does, and tries to get to that outside, going yet again.
Rick Thompson still leading this pack around Daytona now. The 92 machine getting big pushes from the 89 machine. Really got to watch that through the corners. The bumpers on these trucks line up better than any other of the stock cars here, but it can still be really sketchy.
Yes, it can. You can get away with a little bit more, but you still have to be careful with what you're doing. And Brandon, it looks like these drivers are starting to tame out just a little bit right now.
It looks like they're just struggling, Corey, and I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but they're really all over the place up on the high side. The bottom groove is really all over the place. These trucks just look really unstable in this draft.
Yeah, so they have to be very cautious of their moves to make sure they do not lose control of the truck and take out anybody else in the process. But right now, we see 5 drivers, 6 I believe at the moment, have cleared the outside groove.
Heading down into turn number 1 now. Looks like it could end up being a single file with high sides losing the numbers rapidly right now. Looks like they're down to just a handful of trucks on the high side now, and the bottom line going to be prevailing here, but I'm sure these guys, in a matter of time, are going to have to pit here soon.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what is leading the single file. I don't know if, we don't know exactly how long they have, if they can make this on a 1-stop race, or if it have to be a splash of gas on a 2-stop race. We do not know, but side by side is going on. Titus and Sarah, that's for third, allowing the top 2 to break away just by a little bit.
Oh, they're wrecking! Oh, I thought they were wrecking. Never mind.
Yeah, you in a parallel universe, but it looks like all is
The 77 did get really sideways, however.
If he did save it just well. I didn't catch it myself, but everyone doing a good job here still at Daytona. Rick Thompson still is your leader. John Kennedy is in second, and then we have Devin Sarah side by side as Kennedy goes to the outside groove.
Yeah, that 77 did get extremely sideways off the corner there. Surprised he was able to save that machine. I thought he was heading towards the outside wall, but stays in the pack. Now the high line gets gathered back up here. They've got the numbers once again. Try to make it a run on the inside.
Yes, he is, as we come and complete yet another lap. Number 18 in the books. 19 is now on the board, and the outside has very good position. John Kennedy has the push from Devin Sarah on the top groove, trying to get the outside surge yet again. He has cleared on the outside and got the lead on the outside, so let's see if it can happen this time by.
The outside line down even once again to the inside, trying to use the higher line. Who has the momentum down, heading down the straightaway now, the back straightaway, long back straightaway here at Daytona, the super stretch, and not gonna be able to get anything done though. And that outside just seems to be struggling, Corey. Yeah,
it is. I wonder if the tire wear has anything to do with it. I wouldn't expect it to, but it looks like the outside is not. Maybe it's just the drivers up top not having as good of pushes as they were having earlier. But quickly, Brandon, I do want to make note that the second pack has dropped off considerably. The last car in line is Zach Calloway. And then we go back 5 1/3 seconds back to Brandon Boyd in 22nd. They will need a caution to get back into this race.
Those guys just really have to get single file and see what they can do. They really don't have the numbers, you know, to maybe catch back up to this pack, but they can at least keep themselves from losing too much time.
Yes, they can, and they will most likely need a caution to get back in contention, but if there is a wreck, they will have the best chance to be able to woe down and get through it. But at the moment, these guys are doing a pretty good job, and we haven't had any incidents since the first caution.
Heading down off of turn number 4 now, heading down through the tri-oval. The outside line has a new cup leading it. It was the 89. Now it looks like Alex Geese going to be up there trying something.
Yeah, he has yet to be up front in that position.
Sorry, Alex Geese is the 77.
Yep, he is in good position up top, trying to make some action going on the top groove. He is trying to push Devin Sarah right now, but I'll tell you, the outside groove, actually for that matter, the inside groove isn't really too wadded together right now. Sam Maxwell is pushing Rick Thompson. Best position Maxwell's been in so far tonight.
25 machine is the truck that's up on the top. That's Chris Titus trying to lead that line around now. Now the 98 machine, Sam Maxwell down there. He made up a lot of ground. Not even sure where he came from.
Yeah, it's plate racing. You can get yourself in position. You can be in the back, be in the front. That's how it works out. So obviously he's on the better end of the yo-yo right now as we're on lap number 22. And we just have to imagine when our pit stops. Oh, it's really tight racing there through 1 and 2.
Yeah, that got really, really tight.
Here we come.
And it's about a 4-car breakaway up front temporarily. We know those guys are going to catch back up.
Yeah, so we are 2x2x2x2 on lap number 22 here at Daytona on PTR TV. Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series off turn number 4. Who is going to get it at the stripe? Is it going to be Titus or Thompson? It looks like the outside is going to surge, and they will get the run. And will the 25 drop to the bottom? He's trying.
Oh, he got turns.
No.
And they're wrecking in front of the field. Big rev up into the catch fence. Goes to 25.
And that is the big one, folks. That is the cliche big one here at Daytona.
Oh my! The whole field's involved in that. The whole front pack. Chris Titus up into the catch fence.
Yeah, that was just a cliche example of I thought I was clear, and sadly,
he thought twice about it too, but he really didn't want to get left out to dry in the middle.
And that's just a position of he had that hesitation, and that he was clear for a little bit as we're going to go on board here. He just wasn't clear. We'll go back a little bit ways. You can see here from on board of Rick Thompson in the 92 on the inside groove. Right about here, he was actually, I don't think he ever was clear. I thought he was for a millisecond. He never really was clear. And
that's where the hesitation came. Probably figured he wasn't clear, and he wasn't. And then he finally came down trying to avoid getting sucked into the middle there. And big wreck, got turned up into the catch fence. He went.
But it did seem like, Brandon, and to kind of piggybacking off what you said, he never, it's almost like he knew he wasn't clear, but
yeah,
he's, instead of going to the top and kind of giving up on it, and he still kind of maybe tried to force the 92 to back off, which he obviously did not do.
Yep, absolutely.
So this will put us in a interesting position, or so we at least think it. It will most certainly bring pit stops, and after about a 4 or 5 lap yellow flag that we usually have, should go green right about at the halfway point. And the question is, will A, they run green, or B, do they have enough fuel to make it to the end on 30 laps?
Yeah, good question, Corey. And
we may be able to talk to one of our drivers here, if we can pull someone in the booth at some point and maybe figure out a confirmed answer on that. But digressing for now, we have drivers entering pit lane here at Daytona. Your leader and company down pit lane here on lap number 25 out of 60 here tonight. And only drivers that have stayed on the circuit are, actually we do have a couple takers still on the racetrack that otherwise didn't have any incidents. We have Tom Gianni in the 44, Brandon Boyd in the 60, Clarence Bonner in the 94, Randy McCanney in the 17, and Jared Mogard in the 00. And if memory does serve, I believe all those drivers were in that distant pack.
Yeah, absolutely they were. And
that is the exact reason you do that strategy. You're kind of playing a little bit of a gamble, because if they do make it, well, you're all the way back there with no hope. But if it does indeed happen and we have the big one, guess who has a nice shiny clean truck and excellent track position?
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. And you know, sometimes it does pay off, even if it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, sometimes you just lose the draft and you find yourself back there incidentally, but regardless of it, it worked. So I'd expect them to pit this time by. I mean, well, actually, for that matter, I don't know. Maybe they won't pit this time. Maybe they think they can make it to halfway and they'll pit then and maybe call it a one-stop race. I mean, I don't know. We don't know the fuel load, so we can only kind of imagine what the strategy could be. And it looks like that my inventive strategy is not a thing. They will take it down to pit road, so we will take this opportunity to go to the first side-by-side commercial break of the race. We'll be right back with you for the restart. Stay with us here on PTR TV.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Daytona, the ASRS Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series here. These guys back under pace speed here, one to go. They'll get stacked up, double up, and ready to go back green flag racing. And there's a little bit of miscommunication with the fuel that these trucks have here tonight.
Yeah, I saw the website. Unfortunately, I told it's not as accurate as I thought it was. So what I thought was a 60% fuel load, at least at the moment, is a full fuel load for this race. So there should be no fuel concerns for the remainder of the race. Sorry for that information and false strategies that I was creating, but we do not have that. We do have, however, Brian Jasek in the lead in the 55 and Jamie Moore to his outside coming off turn 4 for the restart.
Yeah, we do know that they can now go, well, we now know that they can go about 40 laps on fuel as well, but the pace car is getting ready to make that hard left turn down into pit lane. Green flag back in the air. They're back on the throttle. We're underway once again. All
right, and for this restart, we're going to let you feel the thunder and turn up the engine sounds here at Daytona. So we are on lap number 29 here in this race, and we still have a battle for the lead involving Brian Jasek and the number 82 of Jamie Moore. Actually, that battle has ceased as he's turned.
Oh, he gets turned! Big wreck! Car upside down!
Who was that? I was upside down flipping, but that is the 92 Rick Thompson involved. We have, who is that? The 4 machine sideways. We will go.
Man, who was that went upside down? He's still sitting there. I think it was the 92.
That was Rick Thompson. Remember, he has been out front for a very large portion of this race, but it was the 82 on the outside. That's Jamie Moore, put a hit from the 11 of Jason Stewart, and that was Stewart that was upside down there. And I think that was just a bumper hook gone wrong, and we'll just go on board with Stewart and confirm that. As we're in 3 and 4, he is pushing Jamie Moore in the 82, and he hit him in the left rear. That was not a square hit, and
yeah, Jason Stewart went for a wild ride upside down the 11 machine.
And when he hit the 82, that kind of cornered the 92 in the right rear, and this sent him in front of the field, and you could see drivers trying to scatter to the apron to avoid that wreck. But not what we were...
Oh, Jason Stewart got rear-ended by someone who was already through the wreck, too. What? Who was that?
Oh, we did already on live footage, Brandon, so if you could let us know that.
The 48 machine, Austin Vouch, rear-ended Jason Stewart, the truck that had flipped, after he had already cleared the wreck. So that'll end his night as well.
Yeah, so Super Speedway Junkyards, some Super Speedway junkyarditis seems to be taking over the Speedway here. We've had 2 big ones in a matter of about 5 laps, and looks like we will have some drivers on pit road. I'm assuming some damage repair, some continuous damage from drivers that have endured the prior wreck as well. But Yazik does stay on the Speedway and will continue to lead the race. Matt Howell in second, Jordan Miller in third. And then we have Brandon Boyd, Jared Mogard, your top 5, and rounding out your top 10 is Mitch Brown in the 81. Then we have Randy McCady, Jeremy Banning on pit road, and Tom Gianni. That is, looks like everybody else is on pit road, so that will skew the order, but only 9 trucks still on the racetrack right now, not repairing damage of some sort.
So it looks like a couple guys taking it behind the wall. Brad Collins taking it behind the wall. Sam Maxwell behind the wall. Chris Titus and Rick Thompson also done for the night. And now I would like to bring up a driver for the first in-race interview that we've done in a long time. We've got the 99 of Evan Black.
What? Why does he sound familiar?
I wonder why. Evan Black, BTR TV booth, get a copy.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, we've seen you have a couple of close calls here tonight. What's it like out on the racetrack right now?
I started back in 25th, so I've been in the back most of the race, and it's really hard to pass when everyone's just too wide and no one wants to go 3 wide. I was trying to get people to go 3 wide with me, but no one would want to, so I was just stuck back in the back.
How's the handling of those trucks feel out here tonight? We've seen, you know, a few people very unstable in the draft. What are you feeling on your end?
These trucks are really fun to drive. If you can push hard, there is a little bit of a limit that you can't push too hard, but you can push these things really hard and not wreck the guy in front of you.
And, you know, you sound really familiar. Where are you from that we know you?
I don't know. You guys sound familiar too.
Oh, that's weird. Well,
maybe I watched your broadcast, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't maybe something around there. But,
I'm looking out of my hood and I see your guys' logo. What's up with that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Forced sponsorship.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, hopefully we can see you gain some positions up here and maybe be up front by the end of this thing.
Yeah, hopefully. So, Brandon, I've got a question for you. How's the race looking up there in that broadcast booth?
Very sketchy. Definitely very sketchy so far.
All right, so we will let Evan back to his, get ready for this restart, and not any kind of bias there, bringing a PTR TV guy in the booth. Unfortunately, we don't have these drivers in active communication, so he's the only one that we actually have to call up at the moment until post-race interviews, so that is a little bit of insight towards the race. And let's kind of elaborate a little bit, Brandon, for people who may not understand what you mean by sketchy.
Well, these trucks, from what I've seen tonight, they're all over the place. It's scary. It's on the edge of danger. It's you know, right on the edge of causing wrecks. We've seen a couple of them already tonight. The one that we had just seen was what I was talking about, trucks moving all over the place and incoming of the bumper hook. But you know, it's a very scary ride out here, it seems.
And it's nothing that really is pinpointed at the drivers. Obviously, when you are in these packs at a very narrow track, especially in comparison to Talladega, it's a very narrow track here at Daytona. You're in the draft, you're a lot of air moving all around, you are going fast, you're trying to figure out where you want to go. You will kind of shift around a little bit, but obviously doing that is going to make a pretty chaotic situation, to put it bluntly. So has caused a couple wrecks, but again, we carry on, and we still have a good portion of the drivers on the speedway.
So lights on the pace car are out.
You have 18 drivers still scored on the lead lap at the moment, last one of those being Jamie Moore.
The field dropped dramatically car count-wise after a couple of really big wrecks.
And I do believe we have about roughly 8 drivers that have taken it behind the wall. Stewart, Thompson, Titus, Maxwell, Jordan Ashley, and Pete Baskins. So however many that was, I think about 6 or 7 actually, taking it behind the wall. A lot of other drivers carrying on, trying to get some damage fixed, trying to repair and carry on, run some laps. But we have eclipsed the halfway point in this race. Brian Yazik will get the race underway from the pole position, well, from the first position, not the pole position. That would make sense.
So pace car once again going to make that hard left turn down into pit lane. Off it goes, waiting for the 55 to hit the throttle. Green flag back in the air, and there's a big stack up on the outside.
Yeah, Matt Howell in the 12 was not ready for that restart. That will cause a huge stack up there with Mitch Brown and company behind him, as we have some 3 wide going on, the 02, the 18, Evan Black to the top. You'll start to see some damaged vehicles not being able to keep up with the pack.
Yazik now leading this pack. It looks like these guys going to end up single file. And, well, this is probably going to be the majority of the lead pack that will get. Most everybody else has damage, as we see a couple guys maybe having some internet connection issues here. They're going to go 3 wide up here. That's what I mean about sketchy, guys, is that's a scary situation to be in.
A sketchy situation, but you kind of have to do it if you want to make any kind of ground up. If you're in the back, here we go again.
Oh, up into the wall.
We
that
stay
was
green.
Close.
We stay green. Alex Bates.
Man, oh man.
See, Evan Black got through that. He's speeding like a bullet, trying to not lose momentum, as we have quite a spread out pack here at the front of the field. We have 5 drivers in the lead pack. We have Scott Haller running by himself in the number 5 machine. Evan Black just closing on him, but these drivers are about 2+ seconds behind the lead draft.
Looks like behind this lead pack, trying to see, looks like Scott Haller back there, and then Evan Black trying to maybe catch him. The rounding out the top 10 is Jeremy Banning back there in a 4-car group, and it looks like he's got damage.
Yeah, but we go to the front of the pack, and these drivers are not playing easy. They are going for the win still. They are racing for the lead in the 76 machine. Jordan Miller, first time we've seen him up front tonight. He has the push from Tom Gianni in the 44, going for the lead on Brian Yazik.
And still about 24 laps to go here. So these guys, they have plenty of time. 76 moving down. He's going to get stuck in the middle there, trying to find a way out of it. Not going to work. Those guys going 3 wide down into turn number 3.
They're 3 wide, and the drivers behind them are also double file formation rather, but that 3 wide has cleared up, and we will give Brian Yazik the lead still. But here comes the 76 with a little bit of a run. Think he'll go to the outside with it? Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does not have any help down there. Now the 44 falling back quite a bit. He was getting sucked back to the end there. Not going to work. It looks like the 76 now going to fall back.
76 will fall back, but Gianni's still trying to help him on the bottom to scratch that logic. He goes to the bottom, trying to maybe get the 76 to the rear of the field. And you can see Scott Haller here just kind of cruising by himself. You see Evan Black and his partner, Brandon Boyd, at the moment, and then the pack further behind. So we have really thinned out here at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. For that last wreck, there is a lot of damaged race cars, and the fast guys obviously showing what they can do up front, and it really just spread out the field.
Yeah, so this probably will end the race on a much cleaner fashion, obviously, with this few of drivers left. We talked about having 18 drivers on the lead lap. We now have 17. Danny Rogers, the last one on that lead lap, but as we said, with the varying levels of damage, everybody is quite spread out, as I do see a slower car that is about to be put one lap down or further.
Yeah, he moves down below the double yellow to let those guys through. Very damaged race car right there. Now Yazik still going to be leading these guys around 5-car group at the front of this thing right now.
And this gets us to a point in many plate races where we call it kind of the eye of the storm, which obviously as a hurricane reference, the eye of the storm is kind of the quiet period before it ramps back up for the remainder of it. So in kind of a loose way, we're kind of killing laps right now for those who aren't as familiar with plate racing. We're just literally, let's get these drivers that are just biding their time, waiting for the end to make their final moves for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Closing in on about 22 laps to go now. 60-lap race here tonight.
Yep, and we'll kind of show off a couple packs right now so you know who is driving where. We have the lead pack, but focusing on Scott Haller, as we said, by himself there in 6th and 7th, who has Evan Black and Brandon Boyd closing on them, and then Alex Bates leading a pack 45 with the 12 machine of Matt Howell and Jeremy Benning. That is 9th, 10th, and 11th. We'll go back 18 seconds off the lead, and we will find the 4 machine of Kevin Mingus working with Sean. Actually, I can't tell who that is. I think he's off the lead lap, but we'll go back all the way 24 seconds back and find Jared Mogard on the track. And then further to Tim Knott, who has 3 drivers working with him right now. Raymond Castile and Danny Rogers. That's 15th, 16th, and 17th, and that will wrap up your lead lap. And then everybody else is off the pace, just running laps.
So the group up front, pack of single file right now, maybe just trying to ride out lap story.
Yep, there's 20 to go, and if we're going to keep this formation of 5 drivers in the lead draft, obviously one line is going to be at an advantage. Some line is going to have 3 trucks, some line is going to have 2 trucks, unless of course we're going 3 wide. So this is kind of a spot where you can kind of plan who you're going to work with, plan what move you want to make, plan when you want to make it. All those thoughts can go through your mind. There's plenty of time to act on them.
And this is where making friends throughout the race is very, very important. Those that kept, you know, kind of maybe ditching people to help themselves, kind of more giving or taking than giving, will not pay off.
Yeah, so if there is any partnerships in the top 5, it may come into benefit right here, as look, there are a few slower drivers that these leaders will have to navigate.
Like these guys got a few lap cars ahead of them. 0-2, gonna stay high.
55 catching 2 slower drivers working together and a 3rd one to the top. We'll see how they navigate around them. 41 of Tim Knott, I believe, in that pack. They will go straight to the bottom. A little bit of a 3 wide, but it is such a slow situation, not too much of a concern.
So these lead groups, this lead group here, just kind of navigating themselves through traffic. 76, maybe shooting at the high side. I don't know if it was for air or if he was trying to get an advantage, but it's not going to work for him. Nobody going to go with him.
Remember Scott Haller, we were talking about him being about 2.5 seconds back. He is now 5.4 seconds off the back bumper of Jordan Miller. We'll bring up our primetime battle tracker and let you know the difference in speed between both packs. Miller at the tail end of this pack ran a 48 flat, and then Haller working with Evan Black and Brandon Boyd 2.5 tenths slower.
Yeah, so major speed difference there.
That is merely a situation of 5 trucks working with 3 trucks. Naturally, you have more trucks, you will go faster, so they will have no chance unless we get a yellow flag. And the way it's shaken up, Brandon, I can't really see the yellow flag coming up, but we can never rule it off.
Yeah, and we've seen it many times before on this channel. Expect the unexpected.
We've seen races go green for, I mean, literally hundreds of laps. You wouldn't have saw a caution coming for the life of you, and then we've had it happen with 5 laps to go and a Brent 1-lap shootout. We've seen that here on PTR TV. It's always a possibility. So, again, we can't count our chickens early. I think that's what the expression is. So
you can't count your chickens early.
Isn't that what it is?
I've never heard that one.
Count your ducks early. I don't know.
It's don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Yeah, there it is. You know how hard I try to come up with analogies and metaphors? I mean, I'm going to botch some of the basics to come up with the complicated ones. It's just how it works out. It does look like Jordan Miller in the 76. I don't know if he's maybe seeing if someone's going to sniff on the high groove with him, or if he's just trying to get air or some visibility or what, but he is kind of peeking to that second groove a little bit.
Yeah, maybe losing a little bit of patience, very possible. Hard to judge, especially on the super speedways.
Yeah, I know from my endeavors driving super speedways here on the iRacing.com service, I would kind of employ the strategy of a driver who would drive in the backpack and try to run safe and just take it easy, avoid the big one. And then I know from my end, I never can end up doing that because I get bored, and that just kind of puts you in the situation that the 76, I think, is in, where he wants to go. He doesn't want to run single file, but if you don't have help, you're not going anywhere.
Quick note, Jamie Moore taking it behind the wall.
Our audience here on this YouTube broadcast asking, Brandon, when are you going to be in this series? And you can kind of explain to them how that's going to work, as we may have a battle for position. Nope, 81 does duck and live, but you can kind of talk about the number 99 machine and how that's going to work in the 2018 ASRS campaign.
Yeah, Evan Black and I will be sharing that 99 machine, whether it be the Cup Series or the Truck Series. And I guess it's first time in league history that this league has had 2 drivers share a ride in a season. So that's something that we will be doing. And so the weeks that I'm not in the booth, you'll see me on the track.
So should we kind of keep a little PTR TV running standings of who runs the 99 machine better?
Evan would be that person who runs it better. That's for sure.
I don't think they have Eldora on the schedule here, so you may be at a little bit of a detriment there, Brandon, but
I don't do asphalt racing very well, put it that way.
Which is why, if you do like the ASRS, they do have some dirt series. They have their hashtag home track series, they call it.
Yeah, very good point, Corey.
It's on Wednesday nights at the moment. I do not believe it is broadcasted, but if you do like the ASRS and what the league brings to the table, you can always check out their other leagues. Obviously, the 2 Tuesday leagues that we alternate coverage on, but they do have their home track series, and I know I'm missing one, and I will find it right now.
Yeah, I think there was one more, but I don't quite remember. Obviously, this league does have quite a bit of members in it, and always some good competition. Very
well sanctioned, very well organized. So if you are looking, you are a driver watching this broadcast and you're looking for some activity, always contact the American Sim Racing Series, AmericanSimRacing.com, and you will find all the information you need to know as we venture on. This race is ticking away. We're going to have 12 laps to go at the stripe.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, not much movement right now, Corey, and I don't expect there to be much movement until around 5 to go.
All right, so we will do try to do a thorough through the field here before the activity spikes back up. We have Brian Yazik in first, Randy McCanny in second, Mitch Brown in third, Tom Gianni in fourth. Rounding at the top 10 is Jordan Miller, Scott Haller, Evan Black, Brandon Boyd, Matt Howell, and Alex Bates. That is the top 10. In the 11th spot, you will find Jared Mogard. Then we have Kevin Mingus, Jeremy Banning, Sean Music, Andy Veltman, Tim Knott, Danny Rogers, Raymond Castile, Alex Giese, and Nick Curling. Those are the top 20, and all these drivers are damaged or off circuit right now. We have Scott Smith, John Kennedy, Devin Serra, Jamie Moore, Clarence Bonner. Off the track is Jason Stewart and Rick Thompson. In the pits is Austin Fooch. In the pitch is Chris Titus. In the pits is Jim Foose, Sam Maxwell, Josh Siddon, Zach Calloway, Jordan Ashland, Brad Cross, and Pete Baskin. So you can see about the last 16 drivers all behind the wall.
And as you wrap that up, Corey, we had a couple of drivers trying to fight here, and things starting to get a little bit active up front.
Well, 11 laps to go, and the queue seems to be on for some of these drivers to finally make their moves in the top 5. Tom Gianni and the 76 Jordan Miller take it to the top of the racetrack, but they are outnumbered 3-on-2, and the 76 will drop to the bottom, leaving Gianni by himself.
Lap truck up there, gonna have to take it 3 wide for a brief moment. No concern to those drivers now. Now the run trying to get to the 76 here. He's gonna duck up top. He's gonna be helping out Gianni up on the high side there.
It's going to be a kind of a Herculean feat for those two drivers to make any kind of serious ground up by themselves up top, especially with the 76. Does not seem to be able to stay with the 44, but I'll tell you, the 44 is doing a pretty damn well good job by himself. He's side by side with the 17 of McCanny, and I don't know if he can get to Yazek by himself. I don't think he can.
No, the 17 to 55 kind of trying to help each other out there. 17 right onto the back bumper. Hard to say if Yazek may be trail braking a little bit or not to help him stay onto that rear bumper. But yeah, those guys definitely trying to work hard to stay out front. The 77 machine may end up losing the draft if he's not careful.
Brandon, there's a little bit of a mini pack in front of these drivers up front right now. We have Yazek obviously leading the race, but if you look in front, there's about 4 drivers, and they are running side by side. These leaders will have to get around.
Yeah, we'll see what they do here. They may end up tagging on to the back of these guys, although they look significantly faster.
Yeah, so they will even get to suck up little leaders on these drivers, so they will blow by them like nothing, but depending if they are still running side by side, there may be a little bit of interesting situation, but nope, they will go to the top of the racetrack, at least with the first machine. That is Nick Curling.
Still gonna get the suck up now. Those guys trying to navigate through other cars themselves.
77 Alex Giese to the top of the raceway, gets out of the way of the leaders.
Looks like all these guys gonna get out of the way just fine.
Bogard and the 30 machine of
Looks like
Brad
the 76
Cross.
caught back up to those guys as well. See if he can give it to the back bumper, Gianni.
Yeah, he's right on the cusp. You don't want to drop more than about a half of a second back. That is kind of the cusp of where it's really, I'll use the word sketchy if you can get back to the draft that you're trying to catch to, but I think he is fine at the moment. He will get there and actually have a little bit of momentum when he does.
Couple more lap cars with these guys going around. They'll stay high and out of the way. The 89 machine, we saw him up front there at the beginning.
For those in the broadcast that aren't aware so much of the iRacing.com service, we usually have what we call the cutoff lap, where if the race does have a caution at that point in the race or later, we will finish under the yellow flag. We do not have green-white checkers implemented yet. That is about lap 5 to go, so if this race is going to have a caution to get restarted, it's going to have to happen right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't appear that it will happen, however, but I shouldn't jinx it. I shouldn't speak too soon. Gianni really trying to make something work up on the high side of the 44 machine.
Gianni's the only one that wants to make a move right now. I cannot imagine that anybody wants to stay the 17 or the 81, don't want a shot at the win, but Gianni is definitely the one that wants to go right now. It's just going to be a matter of time before the 17 is going to do something.
Yeah, but now they're right to the door, or at least Gianni is. He's making a lot of ground by himself. 76, not really of much help right now. Can't seem to stay with him.
Yeah, Gianni is just, I mean, he must be frustrated. He's like, come on, guys, go with me. This race is over. We need to make some time up. We can't wait to the last lap, but nobody wants to take a stab at it with him.
I'm really surprised if how much ground he's able to hold up there by himself on the high side. As these guys come down, it's going to be 5 laps to go.
Gianni is really mastering the side draft there, using the aerodynamics off the side of these trucks to keep himself propelled and in the position he needs to be by himself, but he cannot prevail without some help. The 81 or the 76, neither will help him on the top groove.
Gianni, I can't believe how much ground he's making up just with the side draft up there. A little bit of help from the lap truck.
And the 76, he needs to stay up there consistently, get to the back bumper. You got to get wound up. You can't just sporadically go to the top of the track and help out. That's not going to get that momentum built up.
Absolutely. But yeah, as you said, Corey, is the 17 going to be making a move here? And he can't make it too early because he'll end up getting eaten up.
But he can't make it too late and not have enough time. I'm not sure if there's any kind of team affiliation. The manufacturers wouldn't indicate that. So I'd have to imagine the 17 wants a stab at this victory. But one thing he has to watch out for, if Gianni's in the position he's in, that's going to box the 17 in where he cannot make a move. He's not going to have any space to do it.
Absolutely, and well, no indication of anything so far, but I'm still in shock. The 44 is still up on the high side right now.
Yeah, he could stay alongside Makeeng in the 17. He can't get to Yazik by himself, but he's really, as I said, mastering that side draft as we're going to come to 3 laps to go. 7.5 miles of racing left at Daytona.
Yeah, 3 laps to go now. These guys doing everything they can, and
81.
The 81 machine makes a little bit of contact with a 44.
Kind of washed the 44 up the track a little bit, but it did not work. And I'll tell you, the 76 has dropped back, I think, to the point where he may be out of the draft.
Yeah, he lost the draft there. Makes me wonder maybe if he has a little bit of damage cosmetically that's holding him back. I don't see anything, but it's possible.
He's about a half second back, so I think he can get back, but he's going to not be able to help until the very last second. Not the news Gianni needs, as we're going to come to 2 laps to go.
Question is, if the 17 wants to jump up, Gianni is still up there. So it's a matter of when and if he's clear.
Yeah, exactly as I talked about earlier, Brandon. The 17 can't make a move if the 44 is up there. 2 laps to go. He needs to be able to go to the top of the racetrack right now and block the run and take the momentum off the 44. 44 has no momentum. He'll drop to the bottom. It will be single file here as we approach the back straightaway.
4 cars in a group now. Now the 81 gets a little bit loose. Those guys stack up just a little bit. Now they're going to go 2 by 2 down the back straightaway.
Here's the move. The 17 to the top. We're 2 by 2 here at Daytona. 76 has lost the draft, so it's going to be these 4. A little bit of a bump draft. Gianni has to be careful not to hook the 17.
Yeah, bumping through the corners, not as sketchy in the trucks as it is these other vehicles here, but still a little bit scary as they come to 1 lap to go. White flag is in the air.
At the stripe, the 17 got it, and we're going to have 2.5 more miles around Daytona. Can the 17 clear and drop to the bottom? He will do just that. Now Gianni back to the top of the racetrack. 81 is starting to drop off. He's not going to be able to help.
Couple of lap cars up there. Now the bottom line, maybe trying to shove up Gianni, get him out of the way to the 81 machine, maybe
Big
out
wreck
of the
in front
draft.
of,
And now
he turns him.
55 wrecks down the back straightaway.
He turned
They're
him.
wrecking in front of them too. The leaders or these lap cars are wrecking.
We have an obstacle course for these leaders to navigate here, but the obstacle course is being led by Randy Makeeng in the 17 as we come through 3 and 4 after the big wreck on the back straightaway with the 44.
The 17 all by himself had a seat for the guys behind him, but it's going to be too late. Randy Makeeng going to win at Daytona. What
a interesting turn of events to here to end the night at Daytona International Speedway. Will offer the 17 of Randy Makeeng our congratulations. Tom Gianni second, Mitch Brown in third. Give us a minute here to compile the post-race show here, and we'll be back for a post-race interview, so stay with us here on PTR TV.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to, sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run, about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and, put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinster. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from 9th leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just.
And we're back here on PTR TV for the post-race show for the Sam Maxwell Customs 150 for the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series by the ASRS here tonight. Season opener we watched here at Daytona. And before we start interviews here, I just want to recap the finish that we saw so you can see what that last wreck was. Coming off turn number 2, you see the 17 of Makeeng here, Yazik behind him, the 44 Gianni to the outside off of turn number 2, and looks like Yazik he was trying to get the momentum off the 44 of Gianni, but he was not clear and turned himself in the wall, and well, that was that. But we are trying to kind of stall just a little bit for some post-race interviews, and unfortunately I think we're only going to have one, but we will obviously regardless bring that driver in the booth and see his outtake on the race tonight, and that driver is Mitch Brown in the 81. All right, Mitch Brown, you finished 3rd here, and you were ready for that, you were involved in that interesting last lap there. Talk about your race overall and how that last lap was for you.
Our race overall was it was decent. I just early on I really wanted to try to get out front and lead, but it was just so hard on the outside line. Just nobody would go, so I just kind of just dropped my way to the back, and that first wreck kind of hurt us a little bit. We had about a minute and a half of optional damage, and it kind of hurt us with that last lap. As you saw, I fell off the pack, but you know what? I'll take a 3rd place with a slight bit of damage at Daytona.
Yeah, so you mentioned the outside being difficult. Was it a matter of the aero package making the outside, or was this drivers just not willing to go up there?
I wouldn't say it was the aero, and I wouldn't say it was that either. I think it's just, I think guys weren't as eager to push early on. They were just kind of waiting to settle on in and see what happens for the first 20-25 laps of the race. All
right, man. So the season opener for the Truck Series here tonight. You salvaged a 3rd place finish, which at a plate track is obviously a great job. So who do you want to give a shout out to tonight?
want to give a shout out to Alpha Tango Racing and you guys at Primetime Racing TV for putting on this each and every week. You guys do a great job. And Jim Foose and the whole ASRS league for putting on this league. They do a great job each and every week.
All right, appreciate that, man. And again, congrats on the 3rd, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.
All right, thank you guys.
And normally we would be able to present to you your 2nd place and winning driver for their interviews, but unfortunately we do not have them available, at least at the moment, so we will have to cut to the next scene in the broadcast, which will be the final results. Obviously, with the victory tonight is the number 17 machine of Randy McCanny, and Tom Gianni's 2nd, Mitch Brown, who we just talked to, in 3rd. And then in 4th is Jordan Miller, 5th is Brian Yazik, and then rounding out the top 10 is Scott Holler, Brandon Boyd, Evan Black, Alex Bates, and Jared Mogard.
Finishing in 11th is going to be Matt Howell. Then it's Kevin Mingus, Andy Veltman, Jeremy Banning, Sean Musket, Tim Knott, Danny Rogers, Alex Geese, Nick Curling, and rounding out the top 20 is Raymond Castill, and the rest of the results will flash on your screen.
Yep, 21 through 30, and then the remaining of the field, as you said, on the screen. And now Brandon will wrap it up with our sponsor shoutouts.
Absolutely, wouldn't be able to get anywhere on this channel without our sponsors, including Movement Fabrications, a family-run business formerly established in 2012. With over 25 years of experience in the ventilation industry, we offer a wide range of services. This includes ducting, ventilation, extraction, and canopies. If you're in the Nottingham, UK area, Movement Fabrications is the ventilation service to trust. Also, Krutz Custom Graphics, custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we've got your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist. Also, iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, custom graphics, coding, and theme design for iRacing's 2 main overlay systems, ATVO and IRTVO. If you're a broadcast company looking to make your channel shine, talk to Jason Allison with iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon to keep broadcast quality high and cost low for league owners. We need a little help from the fans. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/PTRTV. If you become a patron, you'll get rewards that vary depending on how much you donate. Become a patron at patreon.com/PTRTV. And also, shout out to our chat cameras here tonight, Track Cams 4 Gourmet. You can check them out on Facebook or see their website. Believe Corey has that.
Facebook.com/trackcams, or you can check out trackcams22.com. Talk to Estevan, see if you can get the same camera views that we experienced here tonight. That is another broadcast here on PTR TV. It was the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Truck Series here at Daytona for their season opener. We obviously bring you their Cup Series on alternating weeks. On Mondays, Cyber Racing Association. On Wednesday and Fridays, the Hardline Racing League. And soon to be the Rivalry Racing League on Thursdays. So it's a busy time to be on PTR TV. We'd love to have you in the audience watching these races with us. So like and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. Signing out of the booth tonight is Brandon Krutz and Corey Silva. So have a great night, everyone, and we will catch you next time.